on this computer. You'll have to approve it. Approve, approve. Okay, so let me pull this up too. So I wanted it today. I love doing these Zooms. Yesterday I thought was awesome. And so I'm excited to be doing them. We're just going to do them twice a month, very informal. The first and third Wednesday of the month. On the first, it'll be at 10 a.m. Central, and on the third Wednesday, it'll be 4 p.m. Central. Right? Isn't that what we said? So everybody in this group is welcome to join any of them. We encourage you to do so because we love the input. We want, the more of us that are on here and giving our input, the better off we're all going to be. We're all going to learn from each other, right? So the first thing today I wanted to talk about is we have new team members, and it's different than it used to be. Like, I don't know. Used to there was a little bit more, I don't want to say hand holding, but a little bit more hand holding in the beginning sometimes. And I know everybody does things different, but I'm going to share what I have done, and you guys tell me what you do or what you think would be beneficial, because I know I'm probably missing out on a lot of it just because. But I'll start. Okay. So when I have a new person join my team, the first thing that I do obviously is connect with them. Most of the time it's somebody that's either been watching me on social media, maybe they've even watched my lives on TikTok, or they're just seeing, like, the more you're consistent with your posts, the more they just show up when somebody does a search for pink zebra. And so bottom line is, if I don't know who they are, I want to connect with them immediately. I kind of want to know why they're doing what they're doing, or at least just get that connection going so that they know I'm here for them. And so I will reach out, try to find out, do they want to talk on the phone? I give them my phone number. They can text me, they can call me, they can message me on Facebook. I add them to the groups. And then I encourage them to go straight to resources in the back office, and pull up new consultant first stop. Because in that little resources tab, there is a new consultant how-to videos that I feel like that's really good information that they can watch. The videos, I'm hoping and I think that they're going to be adding things to that as we go along. But that's the first thing I do. And then I want to tell them a little bit about their quick start, and then get them to go to the training, how to enter orders, Pink Zebra Academy, and that kind of stuff. And then from there, it's just like getting them into the groups and trying to make sure that they stay connected in some format. So I know I'm missing probably a ton of steps, and that's why I thought it would be good for all of us to just talk about what we do and what has been beneficial, maybe what you're going to change, what you're not going to change. There's Miss Sylvia. Hi, Sylvia. So anyway, I want to hear from y'all, because my steps, Sylvia, I just kind of went through what I do with the new consultant, sorry. But just because we are recording it, I want to hear from you guys, and I'm going to take some notes too, because I know we'll have this recorded, but I also just want to have notes. So what do you guys do? Who wants to go first? Who wants to share kind of what you do? Or do you do anything? Oh, she couldn't get it working. Or, anything. Go ahead, so Sean.
For me, I haven't honestly, and I'm going to be really raw and honest, I haven't had a new team member in probably 4 years.
Okay.
So that's my goal this year, is to really go back to what I used to do, because I used to get team members and talk to people and stuff like that all the time. And so I need to be consistent, first of all, and I think that's the key for everything, is being consistent. And that's what I need to be, is more consistent, more out there, because a lot of people right now are like, oh, you still with Pink Zebra? And I'm like, yeah, I haven't left,
Yeah.
So it's like, I need to be out there more, and I need to go back to the basic, and I need to start, getting to that. So any advice you guys can give me on how to do team members, because I know when I got them, I used to carry them all the way to the end. I used to pick them up from the beginning, and I used to carry them on my back, and it got very, very stressful on me because I wasn't focusing on me. And that's when I didn't get Pink Sapphire. And then when I started focusing on me, but then guided them, that's when I started doing better. And so that's what I need to start doing, is guiding, not and leading, not doing it for them. So anything you guys can tell me how to do or what works for you guys to get going again would be greatly appreciated.
I'm going to say, first of all, that I know a lot of us back in the beginning used to do that, where we basically, we did for them, or we took that responsibility on somehow and felt the pressure that we needed to do a lot. And I mean, I'm a firm believer that the better I run my business and then am just here to assist with answering questions, inspiring, and those kind of things, and providing feedback, the better everybody's going to be. Because if I'm holding someone up and trying to take them through, I'm not doing them any favors at all. So, and I also liked what you said about being back to the basics, because I don't know about y'all. So I had a new girl. I was talking to her actually last night or the night before. It was, I forget which night. It was one of the nights. But she was telling me how overwhelming it is, because there is so much to learn, especially coming off of reunion. And so just getting to the basics is really important, especially for a new consultant, because the worst thing is to get into something and be like, I have no clue what is happening. I don't get it. Like, it's just too much. Because I mean, the bottom line is we are selling sprinkles, we're selling beautiful home fragrance and accent shades and all of the things that we're selling. Home fragrance, period.
Well, I
So
used
we
to
don't
tell
want
my
it to be,
consultants when they first started is just be honest.
yeah.
Be honest and share what you love. I mean, and you'll ask my customers and they'll be like, well, what do you think about this scent? I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's not my favorite, but it's other people's favorites. And I said I might be my own worst critic and most worst salesperson, but I want you to it's not my favorite. And I'm not gonna BS you basically is, but I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Just be honest. I mean, show pictures in your house of when you use the products. And like I never used soaks from the beginning because I didn't like them. Now you can't get me not to not use them because I gave them a try. And I tell people that I never used to use them, but now I can't get away from them. Just
You're
be honest. The
gone.
more real you are with people, the better you will be. Like that's what they want. They want real. They want honesty,
Right.
So
What about you, Sylvia? Are you,
Back to basics. So what I've been doing this week with the team is if you're talking about team, right, or customers. So
new
with
consultants?
new
New,
consultants, back to basics, I refer them to, when they start, you want them to hit their quick start, right? So
yeah.
finding new customers. Well, how do I find new customers? So if you go in the back office, it has that, and I always have that pin in our group, 100 ways to work your business, right? Like, where do you leave samples? Or and I tell them, don't go overboard with the samples either, right? Like, find a niche. And I'm strong about niches, right? Like when I get them started, I'll say, what kind of people do you hang out with, first of all, right? Like I had a girl just recently join, she joined the first week of July, and her husband's a firefighter. I'm like, oh my God, get them air care, right? So I told her where to order, but by the time they get it, right? So I gave her these little soak samplers, and you just put them in here with your business card. And I said, leave them and tell their wives they can spray their firefighter boots or their firefighter gears, So I always coach them on find your niche. Start with a niche because they're comfortable with that, right? So find what they're comfortable with. And when I say that is because when you start a new business, you want to go where you're comfortable, right? Because if you push them where they're uncomfortable and then they experience no success, then they go back to, I can't do it, right? So I always found, and I feel that works for me, or when I coach them, is find their niche or find where they're comfortable. Start with your family members, right? What are you passionate about? And don't ever let them forget why they join. They love the products. They love a certain products, and let them make them write it like somewhere. Why did you join? Well, because I love air care, or because I love the heroes program. if they tell you, I love the Heroes program, then you say, okay, write down the name of 10 single moms you know, right? Like something that will hook them to their passion and don't let, I mean, I've had very few leave, and I think it's because their success is because I keep them hooked. I just did a presentation to them this week, and that's what I said. Guys, why did you join Pink Zebra? Right? And
Yeah.
then they go back to their roots. And like Sean said, that's where they're going back.
Yeah.
Because what happens now is they want to do everything in their first week.
Right.
Right. So start back to your basics, and like I said, start back slow.
Yeah.
In terms of your customers, you yourself have to ground yourself. Why did I join? Right? Because I love a certain products. I love football. Okay, so go back to football season is coming. What am I going to do about it? Right? Like, you know, are you get them hooked on and mine was health workers. I was very, very successful. So I had to go back to those basics this week and write down all the customers that I had touched through the health workers. And I'm very surprised at the outcome that it's getting me, right? Because you kind of forget about them, my campers, right? Like I haven't been at the campground all summer because we don't camp there anymore, right? Our kids are grown up and all of that. But I just dropped off 3 bottles of the insect repellent yesterday, and I had it in stock, and I'm like, oh my God, why didn't I do this all summer, right? Because I was too busy focus on other things, right? Reinventing the wheel. I tell them this week too, don't not reinvent the wheel. Keep it simple.
Yeah. And back to the basics is a very easy way to say that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Annette, were you going to say something?
No.
Oh, I was going to say the overwhelm when I talk to people these days, it is real. And so I do love the fact that you're encouraging them to find their niche, Sylvia, because first of all, when I first started Pink Zebra, I was really disappointed in my family members. Like they wouldn't touch it. Like everybody was like, oh, she started a cute little business. Like it wasn't until I was in probably a year that it was like they started paying attention to me. So if you're new, do not get discouraged when your family members aren't as supportive as you had hoped they were, or even your friends for that matter. Like that's where you have to, if you're finding your niche and you're posting about it on social media or whatever, finding your niche is going to be so important because that's going to give you that extension to other people comfortably. It's not going to be an awkward, like a door-to-door salesman. I can't even imagine having to do that. But yeah, I like that idea.
I have come up with some of the best friends that are not family and I did not know before and came to me because of Pink Zebra, because of somebody else. I just say this and not lightly. My personal friends from before Pink Zebra and my family, my family does sort of support me, but they didn't at first. It was like, oh, well, yeah, her house smells good. Well, her house always smells good. She likes a good smelling house. So I find it harder to talk to them about the benefits, the no phthalates, the no parabens. I find it harder to talk to, I can talk to strangers easier than I can talk to my own family.
That's funny. I'm the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's that part of me is because they weren't supportive in the very beginning at all. I mean, just like they didn't care. I even gave I gave gifts to different family members thinking so that they'd understand. And no, they're not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. They'll talk to me about everything else, but nope.
My family was kind of waiting for me not to do it anymore. Like they were just like, oh, this is something that she's doing, because I've done like diet plans and I've done all vitamins and blah, blah, all this stuff. And it's like, oh, it'll phase out. And now that I've been in it since 2014, they're like, you really like this. Like, why? And a lot of my customers are like, you're still doing this. Like, you're not jumping over to this or that or this or that. And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, like right now it's like, oh, well, it's bad times. Like, this company's doing this. I'm like, that's wonderful. Good luck to you, because this business has done more than anything else has done for me personally, like financially and confidence and stepping out of my comfort zone and meeting people across the world that I would never have met without Pink Zebra and the relationships that you form that are truly almost better than my actual friendships. Like, I talk to you guys more than I talk to some actual friends. And that's not, I mean, that's not anything bad, but it literally, when people check up on you or care about you, and it's not just because we're on our same team or not on the same team, like, this truly, like Tom and them said, this truly is a family. And it's crazy when you say that to people because they're like, really? It's a family? No, it truly is.
Yeah, it is. It is. So if there is any newcomers watching this right now, what is maybe the one thing you would tell them to maybe inspire them, or maybe it's a task that they need to do? Like, what's one thing that you would say to them?
All the training, all the training. And
Be
I
patient.
go back all the
patient.
time. Yeah, I go back all the time and rewatch trainings just for the purpose of staying fresh and remembering my roots, where I came from, what I did.
Because you can get real behind real fast if you're not
Yeah.
paying attention. So
I would tell them just have fun.
okay.
Have fun. Don't make it so we're independent consultant. This is easy peasy. This is Pink Zebra Sprinkles. Just make it easy and fun. Don't overcomplicate it because it will overload, but just have fun.
Don't compare either.
Right. Yeah. Just have fun. It's your business. It's, and just because Sally Mae's doing it this way doesn't mean you have to do it the same way. Like I'm doing my own business the way I want to, when I want to. It's your business. That's the beauty of it. Have fun.
Melina, hi. I see your face.
She's
I don't
all
know if-
pretty. Look at all the curls.
I know.
Oh, yeah. When I let my hair air dry, it's wavy. I had naturally curly hair as a baby. Like, I literally looked like Shirley Temple. I'll share a picture with y'all. I was trying to get into my laptop so I could go on Zoom from there, but it's like my computer's being a little silly, so I'm gonna have to reboot it.
What's the one
what
thing
would
you would
you-
say to somebody?
Wow, there's so many things. One thing I would say to them, I would say, stay true to what it is that you want, because you're going to see a lot of people accomplishing a lot of things, and that doesn't mean that you can't. But if it doesn't align with your priorities and what you're willing to put in, you will feel you might feel awful, because I've been in that place before. So yeah, just be really focused on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And then when you hit that goal, if you want to take it a step further, then you can. You'll know what to do more of. But yeah, don't let other people's success deter you from what it is you're trying to accomplish.
I love that. What was the speaker that we had this weekend was awesome with all of that.
Mhm.
I didn't post the PDF in our group. I need to do that, because that's kind of, I felt like that was her message. Like,
Be
Yeah.
you. Be who you came to be. Right.
that's it. Thank you. Be who you.
That
came
was
to
her
be.
message. Be who you came to be. And I love that.
I love
And
that.
Yeah,
that's exactly what this business
I needed
is.
to hear that.
I so wish I was there. It was powerful for virtual, but I could imagine what it would have been like there.
You had
So-
my attention. Like, I've got chills even just saying this now. It's like, be who you came to be. We forget, right? Like, we forget the basics. And it was really, really helpful for me. I needed this.
What's something you would say to someone, Sylvia?
Well, whoever said it, don't compare.
Okay.
What has happened in the last couple of years, right? And I feel it. I'm guilty of it, right? We've seen people be successful on TikTok. We've seen people, but I like when she said, it doesn't have to be TikTok. Pick what is you. If Facebook is your jam, or if Facebook is you, then stay that current, right? But on the other side, we have a company that supports us in all those ways, right? I absolutely love what she said about, pick what you are, and maybe start with Facebook. Like she said, stay in your Facebook group. I'm not even active on my Facebook page. I don't think I've ever gone live on my Facebook page. And I'm like, there's an audience.
Huge audience, huge.
Yeah. And you know, I'm thinking I have X amount of followers and I'm looking for 50 followers on TikTok or 50 people to join on TikTok, my live. And I'm like, I've got all these Facebook followers. And I'm like, there's my audience, right?
And not only that, but you think about it, Sylvia, because Facebook is a little bit more like the young kids aren't on it as much, except for just to watch what we're doing every now and then. So your audience probably has the desire to spend the money on home fragrance.
Yep.
So I think Facebook is important for sure.
Absolutely.
And one of the things I would tell any new consultant, so if anybody's watching, do not just do it once and think it didn't work. You have to do something over and over and over and over again for it to set in. People are watching you every day. When you're not posting, all of a sudden, they're assuming you're not doing it anymore. That was just a flash in the pan. You've moved on to the next thing. You have to be consistent and you have to do it more than once. I get so many people that join and they're like, well, I tried, you know, I gave out my business card or I gave out samples and it's not working for me. And I'm like, but don't stop. Like, that's where you're like right on the cusp of finally making a breakthrough. Because when I first started doing this and I was sharing and I was at events, I wasn't selling a thing. Dwayne and I will tell you, people would walk by and it was almost like we had a disease because they would look at us and then they'd be like not making eye contact. I mean, we kept showing up. We kept showing up. I kept posting. And all of a sudden, you realize these people have been watching. And now all of a sudden, they're curious. And now all of a sudden, they're reaching out to you. So don't just do it once
Right.
or even
And
10
the other
times.
thing too is you leave your samples. As soon as I hear this from a downline or a new recruit, what have you done to follow up? Did you go back? Right?
Yes.
Like
You-
I leave samples at Costco all the time. And when I see that cashier again, I'm like, hey, how was that watermelon? Like
Exactly.
you leave them there. It's no different than you going to somebody and somebody giving you a sample and they never call you again. What are you going to do? Put that sample away, use it again, have the memory of that person. But will you
Right.
actually reach out? But I've had people reach out to me in direct sales and say, hey, how did you make out with that whatever product it was, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I loved it. Like you said, Dana, I think you had that, right? Happen to you. And it's like, I meant to reach out to you. Do it in the moment. You talked about parties yesterday, right? We often let them go. But the Melina and I gave a presentation last year and it was in the follow-ups, right? And Melina has a great follow-up system.
Yeah, it is in the follow-up. People are not just going to grab a sample and go place an order. I'm just saying.
No.
As much as we would love to think that, it's not going to happen. You
Well,
have
even
got
in the
to
beginning,
follow up.
when I first started, I with my leader, my one above me, but she no longer is with the company anymore. She gave us a challenge, and I think I told Dana this. Like we literally took 10 samples, and we couldn't come home until we handed all those out. There was people. I was standing in the Safeway line in the grocery store, and I was like, "Oh, I have 2 samples left," and I was like nervous. But then I just said, "Hey, I see you have some Febreze spray. Do you like a good house?" And I don't start with here's a sample and just go. I just you make conversation with people. You find like Sylvia said, you find their niche. What is their thing that they like? Oh, they love Bed Bath and Beyond, or they like Bath and Body Works candles. I go in there all the time. We all shop everywhere. It doesn't mean it's bad, but hey, I have something here. You have kids, or I see your father. I saw a guy in the grocery store the other day that had an oxygen thing on, and the lady was getting candles. And I was like, oh, do you like a good smelling house? And she's like, oh, yeah, but I have to be careful and this and that. And I said, have you ever heard of Pink Zebra? Yeah, I've heard of it, but I heard it's pretty good. Well, here's a sample. Like, here, check us out. Like, you don't know unless you ask. And that's the thing. It's like, just like back to the basics, just try. Don't give up. One thing doesn't work doesn't mean that next person won't take it,
And those dollar store little I don't have one here. I was looking for it.
The little mesh bags.
No, those little notebooks, okay? They're just little tiny
Oh, yeah,
ones.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can buy them for parties, right? Keep one of those. And the thing that I like about the idea is when you hand out a sample, would you like me to follow up with you in a week? How about we exchange phone numbers? Because she's gone her other way, right? So that's one thing that I'd forgotten.
Yeah.
I no longer had that little notebook in my purse, and it's an easy one, right? But you make the conversation when you hand out that sample. There has to be, well, I say there has to be an exchange, right?
For good.
Would you like me to follow up with you in a week and let me fill you in more, right? Or get an email and get a phone number. Those two will help you with that.
Even at events, I don't just willy-nilly hand out samples anymore because they'll take it. And 9 times out of 10, I don't hear from anybody. I mean, it's all about the follow-up, especially at events and even in parties. What's that?
So you guys, I found these. I was shopping for the kids for their school supplies, and I found they're half composition books. They were in a pack of like 12. And I thought it's the perfect size to just slide right down in my purse. I just got these Monday, I guess. But they're half size. There's 100 sheets in here. And I thought this is perfect for me to get their information.
Yeah.
On a sheet. Everybody on a sheet that I'm handing stuff to. Thank you to Sylvia.
You know what else you could do if you don't happen to have that paper trail right with you is to say, you know, if they're going to take a sample, say, follow me on Instagram or Facebook so that we can connect, and then get them right, like show them where your page is. If they use Instagram, have them go there, like it. And then, you know, because you saw somebody follow you, you know, you can contact and say, how did you like the sample? Like, there's just so many ways that we can connect with people. It's a matter of doing it.
And like you said yesterday, that QR code, right?
Yes, that QR
Show
code.
them the QR code. How about you scan this right now? Here's my contact information and follow me here. And, you know, I have to do that. I have to redo some of my materials to put my QR code on.
Yeah. So, and the other thing I think I would tell somebody that is new, because I keep going back to the word overwhelm, just because she used it the other night, and I thought, I remember I was overwhelmed and I just started doing, like, I learn as I do. So we don't want them to get overwhelmed, because then they're going to just kind of back away, because I think that's human nature. Like, if it's more than you can handle, you just kind of back away from it. Like, okay. So just having those easy steps, you know, the fact that we do have that new consultant first stop, the fact that we do have some training videos, just learn a little bit as you go, and then start talking about it. Start talking about how excited you are and thinking about why you decided to join. I mean, all of those reasons, right?
Yep.
Malene is reconnecting. What other things could we tell people?
Remember what Tara said regards to her presentation? Keep your sticky notes, you know, as a reminder.
Yeah.
I like that.
Especially, if you're going to go live, or if you're doing a Zoom call or something like that. It's a great idea. Mm-hmm. Anything else you guys can think of? I think the other thing I would say is, anybody that's watching this that has a team, like we talked about in the very beginning, don't do it for them. You have to show by leading by example. You have to show them this is how you do it. Like, and you know what? I used to, so back in the day when Colby was here, he used to tell us all the time that we needed to be at their launch parties. And I went to so many launch parties, you guys, and then I made the mistake so many times that I would be like, this is how you do it. And I would lead the launch party, and I didn't realize it, but 9 times out of 10, they're looking at it like, I can't do what she just did. So then they kind of fizzle away. So, I mean, I even had the conversation with Colby. I'm like, I don't think it was a good idea to be there. And he goes, well, it's not a good idea if you're doing it for them. Like, you're supposed to be there in the background, sharing with them what they do. Don't do it for them. So if you're going to do a launch party, don't do it for them. Make sure they're doing it.
I had a team member that actually came to my house and said, if you're not going to take care of me, then I'm not going to be a part of your team. And I said, well, you need to explain what you mean, take care of you, because I'm giving you graphics, I'm making them, I'm posting them, I'm sending them to you. I'm making sure as soon as there's a special, I'm sharing it with you guys so you have everything. And she said, you should be doing a live for me at least once a week. I was like, so I said, if I do a live for you, I'm taking your customers.
Oh, there you go.
It's just that simple. So I lost her. Of course I lost her, but she also went around to some other team members and started saying that I wasn't doing my job. And the whole comparison thing, it got me. And it was like,
Oh, yeah. It
how are all
hurts.
these people having these huge teams and being able to, in my mind, adult babysit? I can't do that. I don't want to do that.
Your job
So,
is to lead
and
and support them. Lead
and
and support.
it took me a long time to figure out, like, I don't want somebody to, I don't want to put up a sign, and maybe this is wrong. I don't want to put up a sign, hiring, ask me, whatever, because you don't, to me, I don't know who's walking past me.
Right.
And I've been burnt a few times by people that just, one girl said, well, she got her kit and said, I don't have what you have. Well, I've been doing this for a lot of years.
Right.
I've built
you.
my own, right. So it's really hard, when you're an event, I'm an event person. When you're an event person, people are looking and they think that's what they're going to get. So that's another one of those go back to the basics kind of thing.
Or let's set some goals to help you achieve what I have, right? I set
Right.
goals to achieve that. Let's set some goals. What are your top 3 goals? That's another thing that I'm doing, right? Like write down 3 goals that are simple, that are achievable, that are smart, like, that you can achieve that. And you don't necessarily, you can have a big goal for the year. So I want to achieve the trip and I want to hit Sapphire, right? I didn't determine yet whether it was what color. I said I want to hit Sapphire, right? And then break it down. What are you going to do, or what do you need to achieve the trip? The trip tracker has a very good way, of achieving the trip,
Yeah.
right? Like you hold so many parties, you get so many residual orders and so many consultants added to your team.
Yeah. So I know Melina was in another direct sales company for several years. I don't know if anybody else ever was, but just out of curiosity, Melina, did your other direct sales company, was it any different than what we're talking about as far as new people? Like, you didn't go in and hold their hand to the top, did you? I mean, that's just like, because this is the only direct sales company I've ever done. So I'm just kind of assuming that that's not going to work.
It's the same thing.
Well, so I feel like the company I came from was, I mean, it's definitely structured a little bit different. It was inventory based. And so off the bat, people were making a decision on if they were going to have any products on hand. And that either paralyzed people or motivated them. So, like Sylvia said, it's the same. The people who are going to do are going to do, and the people who aren't going to do aren't going to do. If we could back up real quick, because I didn't get to share because I was walking and not on camera. Like I think the thing that's been most helpful to me working with new people is having video resources, because I don't have all the time in the world, nor do I want to spend all the time in the world. Now, I mean, really within the last year or so, I definitely had a shift in like how I want to use my time. So I'm trying to be smart about how I invest it, but for 7, 8 years now, I've used video to help explain things to people. And that has definitely helped when someone's like, hey, how do you do this? I probably have a video for it. And that takes the guilt off of me, because I'm a helper by nature. It's just who I am. But I also, when I start to feel taken advantage of, I start to, another side of me starts to come out. I get resentful. I'm not as pleasant. I know all that about myself. I'm grateful that I'm very self-aware. So that's good. But I don't like getting to that point. I don't like that feeling. So that's my guilt-free way of being able to help without having to stop what I'm doing, get on a phone conversation and walk someone through something, because like I've heard people say like only do for one what you can do for 100. I can't do that for 100. I don't even think I could do it for 10. So so that's been super, super helpful. There was one other thing that I wanted to say and then it fell out of my head.
While you're thinking
I don't
about
know.
that, I wanna say I'm trying to be good about titling these. So when I post them in Building for Tomorrow, if someone is like, you know, maybe struggling with what to do with newcomers, you can say, be sure to go watch that Zoom because there were tons of feedback there. So it can actually be a training thing. And we'll do this for several of these Zooms. And then we'll get to the point where we're covering other things that we don't necessarily need to record and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, this is good knowledge. Like, so send people to these. And I know Melina's got tons of everybody's got stuff, I'm sure, in their groups for your team. We've got stuff on YouTube. So I like the sending them to a video because yeah.
Because the first week you onboard somebody, you always have the same questions, right?
Yeah.
How do I log into my back office? How do I set up my profile? And those are the kind of videos that I've done. And if I get a message that says, hey, how do I change my profile picture? I tag them into the post that I have in my group and say, hi, Dana, here it is, your answer, right? Like, or I've got, like you said, I've got a video for just about everything as well. Like
I'll
basics,
pin
right?
these. Yeah. I'll pin
Yeah.
these to the top too. So if we want
Yeah,
to.
absolutely.
Did you think of it, Melina?
Yeah, I did. So this is like hard to say and might be hard to hear for some people, but as someone who's looking to grow a team, do not feel guilty about telling someone that you are not the right sponsor for them. Um, Obviously, like we want to move up and grow and build teams, and that's all exciting. But the new person should be interviewing you, and you should also be interviewing them. And I won't go super into detail because this was like a kind of a it's kind of a tricky situation. But I did have someone reach out to me about almost 3 years ago, looking to join, and had, you know, basically kept saying over and over again they wanted to make sure that I was available to do XYZ if they needed help. And I said, on more than one occasion, I'm happy to help you when I can, but it might be a good idea if you have someone else that can help you if I'm not around. I work a full-time job. I have a husband. I have a dog. I have, priorities outside of Pink Zebra that I'm obligated to. So yes, when I'm available, happy to help you. But if I'm not, you should have a backup, someone who is. And they kept coming back with that same thing over and over again. And it got to the point where I was like, okay, this is a broken record. And I said, I'm not the right sponsor for you. I think you should find someone else to join with. And
Yeah.
it was really hard because that's not how I've been in the past. But it was eye-opening to me that, I think this person was really looking for something that, no one really should have to do for other people. I don't work for her. She doesn't work for me. But, there are people that will try and sadly take advantage of your kindness. So we have to protect ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. You find the resources, you can tag team them too as well with other members on your team that are strong, if you know that they can offer that. But like you said, you should never feel guilty because I work a full-time job just like Melina. And you know what? My daytime hours are very focused, very limited. And I have, my bread and butter, right? So I find, and I make it known my business hours. Dana, you've taught us that really well, right? What are your business hours? That applies for customers and that applies for your team.
Right. And even if like I do that, this is my priority, Pink Zebra, but I'm still very protective of my time. I am still the girl that has theme days and I have certain days that I do certain things and I'm not going to just take 24/7, and I will, if it's a new person, I absolutely will be available as often as I can. But then it kind of becomes like I will get back to you as soon as I can within the 24-hour window. Like I'm not going to leave them hanging, but at the same time, I can't stop everything I'm doing every time I get a call or a message, because then my business is going to fall apart. And
Yeah.
we have to remember that. So,
And that's a message for new consultants, right? Be
Yes.
mindful of your upline's time as well. She is also working a business, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you work together. And I mean, I've come to know, Dana, you go to bed early. I don't reach out to you outside of those hours. My
Right.
customers don't reach out to me outside of those hours. I mean, I snooze my team chat at night, right? Like, you know, there needs to be a balance. And I get up early, fine. I'll answer my messages, you know, before I head to my office. But in the daytime, rarely will you get an answer from me. I mean, unless I'm on lunch or, you know, my time, because my company time is important, right? The same thing, to be respectful of you on your weekends, right? If you know, you say to us, for me, Sunday is really important for me, right? So usually it's a family day. It's, you know, that's my me time because I work a full-time job. You know, I make my deliveries on that day, and you know, I'm always available to the team, but there has to be your business hours as well.
100%. And unfortunately, I mean, I learned the hard way, because back in the beginning, I was 24/7. My phone would ding at 3 a.m. and I'm like, oh shit. Like, oh, excuse my language. But I'm like, oh, what if, you know, like it wake me up. And Dwayne used to always be like, you need to put your phone down. Like, what is with you in this phone? I mean, we'd be out at an event with people and I'm like, hang on just 1 second. Just 1 second. Hang on. I just got to answer this one. And then all of a sudden you're in like over, what do you call that? I mean, just burnout mode. So don't do that to yourself. Don't do
Yeah.
that to yourself.
I've had enough instances where my husband has said, you're always on your phone, you're always on your phone, where like I don't want to hear that anymore.
Right.
You know, there's a difference between a spouse being unsupportive and someone trying to open your eyes to maybe a behavior that's not healthy. So
100%.
Yeah.
It's not healthy for any of us, not our team or us, because we're not setting that example. And they will treat you like you let them. Their behavior will be based on how you allow them to treat you. So that's another. And then the last thing, because it's almost 10:50, and I don't want us to go too long because I want people to watch these. But the last thing I want us to all touch on is the avoiding the negative chat, not just in our heads, but even I notice people will make a little negative snide comment. And then the next thing you know, there is a trickle down effect. Now, granted, you don't see it on our group pages. I know, Sylvia, you're very good about, get out of here. You're not doing that. We don't allow it. But what ends up happening? They message the people. And the next thing you know, they're working against the whole thing. Because if you're going to talk negative, first of all, you will bring someone else down real quick, but other people tend to jump on that bandwagon, even if you're not in a negative space. I actually, y'all, I got a message this morning about somebody who was still mad about something. And I'm like, you know, shift girl, like you got to be in a good headspace because you're not doing yourself any favors. Like that was then, this is now. So don't go there in your head. And I know all of y'all as leaders can speak to that too.
I keep cards, texts, emails that I get from either team members or customers that are positive. I have them in the drawer.
Yeah.
I'll pull them out if I'm having a crap day. Dana either gets it from me or Sylvia gets it from me, and then pull it back together, look at my cards and be like, okay, I helped this person and they appreciated it. So take the negative. And I have a new thing. We were driving down the road one day, had nothing to do with Pink Zebra, but some stuff was going on. And personally, I rolled my window down in the car, Mike was driving. And I said, watch this. And I went like this out the window. And he goes, what was that? And I said, all the crap that I'm not carrying. I'm not carrying it. So
yeah, we're our own worst enemies when it comes to our own self-talk. And we have got to be all over that, because I mean, we could find something wrong with every little thing. I mean, I could find something wrong with this pencil right here and complain about it if I wanted to. So, and we're not doing ourselves any favors, and we're certainly not helping our team when we go that direction. So, I mean, yeah, reach out to somebody that you know will bring you back around, or read something positive. Or 9 times out of 10, I believe that a negative mindset has nothing to do with the business and everything to do with something else that's going on in their life. And this just gives them an out. So
Yeah.
just be mindful of that, right?
That's exactly what it is in my experience. When people feel out of control in one area of their life, they look for the thing they can control. And so that is why if I'm having a rough day at work, I might snap at my husband or one of the dogs. And y'all know I love those dogs, but I say sometimes I have to say bad words to them. So that's usually how it is. And I know for me, like, I've had to start telling people that, like, hey, I get that you're struggling with something, but I need to stay in a positive place. So we can talk about almost anything, but I can't talk to you about negative things right now.
And
It's
that's
hard.
okay.
Yeah,
That's
I have had to have
empowering.
that conversation like a couple times. I had to say something to someone at reunion because it's like they wanted to go down a rabbit hole and they thought I wanted to go with them, and I was like, actually, no, I'm good. I'm choosing to stay in a positive place right now because I really need this conference to inspire me. So yeah,
Well,
man,
speaking
tough
of the sticky notes
conversation.
that, oh, sorry. Speaking of the sticky notes I just now recently this past week had put like affirmations on my bathroom mirror. So when I wake up in the morning, because I do have a lot of stuff going on personally, but you would never know if you see me right now, you would never know that because I'm exuding what I saw on the mirror this morning of I am a good person. I am, just little affirmations, little things to get you going through the day. Because when you manifest, and that's a huge thing with me, when you manifest your day, I'm going to do good things. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You tend to do that. And I'm one other thing, and then I'm going to jump off because I got to get my car. Um, I'm doing a new vision board. Dana, do you remember when you had us do vision boards? I looked back at my last vision board and I did a timeline. I literally accomplished 4 things out of the 8 that I put on there and didn't even realize it. And I subconsciously am doing that now. And if you're new, make goals for yourself, but not something that is too unattainable. Like,
Yeah.
yes, I want to be director one day, but that's not an attainable goal for me right now. I just want to be paid as a manager. I want to
Right.
earn Pink Sapphire again, and I want to love what I do, and I want to have fun again. So
Yeah.
those are goals. That don't make goals that are not attainable. Be realistic,
Mhm.
do what you can do. And like Melina said, just because somebody else is getting a paycheck for, $10,000 on stage doesn't mean that, yeah, that's all a goal we would like. But don't take someone else's success as a bad thing. It is what it is. They
Yeah.
work their butt off and they don't. I have a full-time job. I have 4 kids. I have, everything that's going on in my life. That's just not attainable for me right now. But congratulations to them. Good job. But this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to make a thing for me and my family and what I want to do. So, yeah, but I'm doing a new vision board. So I'll have to share it with you.
Yeah, please
The other
do.
thing I learned from, oh, go ahead.
No, Sylvia, go.
One thing that I get from Sean that we learned at reunion as well, what Tara said, I think it was Tara, right? Tara,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah, the
She
butterfly.
said, don't compare, but admire. I love that. I came out of my session and I went to 2 top leaders and I said, I admire you for reaching that goals, because you have to admire those that you want to connect with. Like, that's my inspiration. That's my, like, wow, if she can do it, I can do, or I can do something along the same worlds, right? Like, that is her goal. That's not your goal. Don't try to live in their life, right? And I remember coming out of the session with Tara and going to 2 of my top leaders that I admire, that I look forward to, and and I said, I admire you. And the girl was like, really? Like, and Tiffany Billings was one of them, right? Because I felt good. I'm like, I admire you, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to how do I say, transmit that, right? So that you feel it as well.
I was
Do
just going to say
not,
that.
you have to feed yourself with
Right.
that.
When you praise, it comes back to you. And I mean, it's hard. I know as women, sometimes we're like, well, it must be nice for her. But no, we should absolutely be lifting each other up and saying, man, you go, girl. That is amazing. You inspire me.
Do you know what thing I saw online? And I'm gonna pop Melina, her post. It like I
Oh
don't
my
it is
gosh.
That
her
was
post
really,
after
really good.
reunion, and she went on there and posted her thing and said, you know what? I didn't achieve everything I wanted to, but darn it, I earned this and I'm damn proud of it.
Yeah.
That right there, like, and I love Melina. Melina and I are dancing partners. We will always be dancing partners to silent disco to the day we die. But like Melina, like that right there in itself, like I looked at myself and go, she's absolutely right. Like I didn't achieve Sapphire this month, but or this year, but you know what? I enjoyed my son's senior year, and my Pink Zebra business was what it was, but I enjoyed my time with my son before he graduated high school. I'm like, Melina said it right there. I didn't achieve what I wanted to, but darn it, I'm here. I achieved what I got, and I'm going to be happy about it. So I thank
But
you
you
for that,
achieved
Melina, by the
other
way.
things, right? I didn't achieve Pink Sapphire this year, but I achieved many other goals that I wanted, right?
Mhm.
Like, so don't beat yourself, right? Like, and if you were to make a list today of, because trust me, guys, come April, I was not very far from Pink Sapphire. And, I was like, okay, I was struggling and it was hard in my head because that little voice was saying, you need that pink diamond, right? You need that. And that other voice was saying, wait a minute. And I remember it's going to get teary because I remember having to sit down and say, okay, here's your business. What have you accomplished in your business in the last 4 years? And what is it you have not? And the have not was very few and far between. But what I did achieve in my career was high. So, that helped me go through that and make that transition into this was a transition year for me in many aspects of my life, and it was okay, right? But I had to train my brain to think positive, right? Like you have to change your mindset that it's okay to be in a transitional period, and you come back stronger.
I'm going to say one thing and then I have to go.
Okay.
So I guess what sparked in my brain when you were talking, Sylvia, is that our worth is not determined by our accomplishments. It's not determined by what we have or don't have. It's really who we are. And I actually heard something really cool on the way to work. I was watching / listening this hype video for the Carolina Panthers, and it said, strength is not determined by how much you lift, but what you're willing to carry.
Wow.
And I was like, rewind, let me listen to that again. And so that hit me. Like,
Melina, will you message me that?
Yeah,
No, wait.
I'll
I was going to say, let's do a thing in our group about some of the, because we've got some good one-liners here, ladies. Like there's been some good ones shared today. So I'm going to make a post, or one of y'all make a post and let's put them there. Because some of that stuff I want to write out. And I'm going to be putting that on my mirrors and everything because I need the constant reminder too.
Yeah, I want that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Anyways, I have to go now. So
okay. Well, it's
kisses
11
to you
and
all.
I need to get working on my business too today. So I'm going to go ahead and end the call unless
Bye,
y'all have
ladies.
you don't have anything
Bye,
else to say.
everyone. Thanks for everybody's filling
All
in
right.
and sharing.
Yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye, Annette.
Bye, girl.